Hey man, in the heat of a breakup, it always feels like she's the one in control. She walks away smiling, she posts pictures online, she laughs with her friends, and you're left broken, wondering how she could move on so easily. You sit there thinking she's forgotten you, that she's happy, that she's free, while you're the one drowning in sleepless nights, unanswered questions, and endless self-doubt. But the truth men don't realize is that this imbalance is only temporary. Time works differently for men and women after a breakup. For a man, the pain is sharp and immediate, but he heals as he rebuilds. For a woman, the relief is immediate, but the regret creeps in slowly until it eats at her in silence. The reason your ex always feels worse over time is simple. Women chase emotion, not logic. When she leaves, she feels justified. She convinces herself she's following her heart, that she's seeking happiness, that she deserves better. In the early stages, that belief fuels her. It gives her the energy to detach, to justify her choices, to paint you as the problem, and in that moment, she feels powerful. But feelings are unstable, and as time passes, the story she told herself begins to collapse under the weight of reality. Reality doesn't bend to emotions forever. Reality exposes her decisions, and that's when her world begins to crumble. At first, she distracts herself with attention, validation, and novelty. Maybe she flirts, maybe she dates someone new, maybe she immerses herself in social media. It feels like freedom, like excitement, like a fresh start. But as weeks turn into months, the high wears off. The new man she ran to doesn't feel as thrilling anymore. The constant attention from strangers doesn't fill the emptiness she thought it would. The party ends, and the silence creeps in. And in that silence, the memories of what you provided, the stability, the presence, the care begin to return. She starts realizing that she traded reality for fantasy, and fantasy has a short expiration date. Meanwhile, you, the man she left, are rebuilding. Your healing begins in pain, but as you focus on yourself, as you grow stronger, as you pour into your mission, you transform. Each day, you're becoming a version of yourself she'll never get back. And the more you grow, the more the contrast between you and her choices becomes clear. She looks at you from a distance and sees the man she underestimated thriving without her, and that realization cuts her deeper than any breakup cut you. Because she didn't just lose you, she lost the life she could have had if she'd chosen loyalty over emotion. That's why your ex will always feel worse over time, not because you punished her, not because you tried to make her jealous, but because time itself reveals truth. Time exposes the lies she told herself, the fantasy she chased, and the reality she threw away. At first, it feels like you're the one suffering more, but in the long run, it's always her who carries the heavier burden. Because regret doesn't scream, it whispers, it creeps in slowly, late at night when there's no one left to distract her, and once it settles in, it never leaves. When she first walks away, she thinks she's gaining freedom, but what she doesn't understand is that freedom without direction is emptiness. At first, she'll fill that emptiness with distractions, nights out, new people, constant stimulation. It feels exciting, even liberating, because she no longer has the weight of responsibility or the demands of a relationship. But slowly, those distractions lose their shine. The conversations with new men start to feel shallow. The compliments she gets online start to sound repetitive. The nights out begin to blur into each other, leaving her with nothing but hangovers and regret. She begins to realize that what she thought was freedom is just noise, a noise that keeps her from facing the void she created when she let you go. Rebound relationships are often the fastest path to her regret. She'll jump into something new almost immediately, convincing herself that this new man gets her in a way you didn't. It's not about love, it's about validation. She needs to prove to herself and to the world that she was right to leave you, that she was desirable, that she upgraded. But rebounds are built on comparison, not connection. And as time passes, the cracks start to show. The new man doesn't have your patience, your strength, your grounding energy. He may be fun at first, but he's not you. And when the honeymoon phase ends, she realizes the harsh truth. She didn't upgrade, she settled. That realization is brutal, and it hits harder because it's a choice she can't undo. One of the most haunting things for your ex is silence. When you don't chase her, when you don't explain yourself, when you don't fight for her attention, she begins to feel something she didn't expect. Emptiness. She thought you'd beg, she thought you'd argue, she thought you'd try to win her back, and when you don't, it forces her to face reality. Your silence becomes louder than any words could ever be. It tells her you're not dependent on her, you're not broken without her, and you're not sitting in the corner waiting for her return. and that silence eats away at her because it forces her to ask a painful question. Did I matter as much as I thought I did? Over time, she will start to see the ripple effect of her choice. Friends who once cheered her on in her freedom stop caring about her drama. The men who filled her DMs stop putting in effort. Even the rebound relationship loses its shine. Meanwhile, she sees you living differently. Maybe you're hitting the gym, building your career, chasing your goals, or simply moving forward with peace. Every step you take is a reminder of what she lost. Not just you as a man, but the stability, security, and consistency you brought into her life. And the cruel irony is that while she once believed she was moving on to something better, she now realizes you were the best she ever had. That truth doesn't fade with time, it sharpens with every passing day. The regret women feel after leaving a good man is not always loud. It doesn't always show in dramatic apologies or desperate attempts to come back. Most of the time, it's quiet, lingering, and deeply personal. It shows up in small moments when she's scrolling through her phone late at night and sees your picture, when she's in a crowded room but feels alone, when she laughs with someone new but doesn't feel the warmth she felt with you. These moments pile up until the weight of regret becomes unbearable. And while she may never admit it to you, she carries it with her. That's why she always feels worse over time, because no matter how far she runs, the truth always catches up. And the truth is, she lost a man who was real, and she replaced him with a fantasy that couldn't last. What begins to torment her more than anything else is the way time reveals the truth about people around her. In the beginning, her friends may cheer her decision, telling her she's doing the right thing, that she deserves more, that she'll find someone better. They clap for her new freedom and push her to embrace the single life. But as weeks turn into months, those same friends drift back into their own lives, their own relationships, their own responsibilities. She no longer has a crowd hyping her up. The people who encouraged her to leave are no longer there to fill the silence when she's alone at night. And it's in those quiet moments, without the noise of others, that regret becomes deafening. She realizes that her friends never had to live with the consequences of her decision. She does. And by the time that awareness hits, it's too late. Another reality she cannot escape is how difficult it is to replace genuine stability. When she was with you, she may not have appreciated it fully, because stability doesn't create the emotional highs that women crave. She wanted excitement, butterflies, fireworks, and the illusion of something better. But once she leaves, she discovers that the world outside is chaotic. New men might bring thrills, but they rarely bring consistency. They'll chase her at first, but their interest fades as quickly as it began. She finds herself caught in cycles of temporary attention that never match the steady presence you once gave her. And the more she experiences this instability, the more she longs for what she took for granted. That longing morphs into regret, because she knows she left a man who gave her something she can't easily find again. Over time, your silence begins to take on a new meaning in her mind. At first, she might interpret it as you being hurt or angry. She may tell herself, he's probably still thinking about me, he'll come back eventually. But as the silence stretches into weeks, months, and maybe even years, she begins to realize the truth. You weren't waiting, you were moving on. That realization is devastating because it forces her to confront her own irrelevance in your world. She thought she was unforgettable, that her absence would cripple you, that you'd never stop wanting her. But your silence tells her otherwise. It communicates that she wasn't as permanent in your life as she believed, and that bruises her ego in a way that lingers far longer than any breakup pain you felt. The regret doesn't just live in her emotions, it seeps into her daily life. Every time she sees a happy couple holding hands, she feels a sting of loss. Every time she hears a song that reminds her of you, she feels a pang of nostalgia. Every time she scrolls through social media and sees you thriving, smiling, or simply living with peace, she feels the weight of her mistake. These small triggers build a constant echo of regret in her mind. She can try to suppress it, she can try to distract herself, but the truth keeps surfacing. She left something real for something fleeting, and the human heart never forgets the weight of that mistake. It turns her confidence into doubt, her pride into shame, and her joy into emptiness. What makes her suffering even worse over time is the way memory distorts in your favor. In the beginning, she may focus on the negatives, convincing herself that leaving was the right choice. She'll highlight your flaws, magnify your mistakes, and paint herself as the victim. But as the months pass, those negatives begin to fade, and the positives grow sharper in her mind. She remembers your kindness, your patience, your protection, your presence. She remembers the way you made her feel safe, the way you stood by her when others wouldn't, the way you believed in her. Those memories, once ignored, now haunt her because she realizes she'll never experience them with the same depth again. And this shift in memory is why her regret compounds over time. It transforms the man she once left into the man she'll never stop missing. One of the cruelest realities for a woman who leaves a good man is that her pride becomes her prison. Even when regret begins to suffocate her, she won't always admit it. Sometimes not to you, not to her friends, not even to herself. Pride keeps her clinging to the story she told the world, that she was right to walk away, that she made the best choice, that she's happier without you. But deep inside, she knows the truth doesn't match the story. The longer she pretends, the heavier the regret feels, because every day she has to maintain a lie, and that lie becomes a chain that traps her in a life she no longer enjoys. She could swallow her pride, admit she made a mistake, and reach back, but most women never do. So instead, she lives with the silent torment of knowing she lost something real and will never have the courage to get it back. As time passes, the future itself becomes her greatest enemy. In the short term, she may feel free and adventurous, convinced she has unlimited options. But as the years roll by, the pool of quality men shrinks. Those who once gave her attention are now focused on younger women, their careers, their families, or women who actually value them. She looks around and realizes that the excitement she once chased has left her with nothing but fleeting moments and temporary bonds. Meanwhile, you are investing in yourself, your mission, your health, your stability. And every time she looks back, the contrast between her life and yours grows sharper. That contrast is unbearable because it forces her to face the truth she ran from. She had the man she needed, but she chose the illusion she wanted. Your growth is the hammer that drives the nail of regret deeper into her chest. When she left, she may have believed you would crumble without her. She may have thought you would beg, that you would spiral, that you would never recover. And for a time you did feel broken, but instead of staying down, you rose. You rebuilt yourself stronger, sharper, more focused than before. That transformation is not only healing for you, it's punishment for her, because she sees that leaving you didn't break you, it made you better. And now she must live with the realization that the man she abandoned is now the man every woman desires. That thought gnaws at her endlessly, because it proves she didn't just leave you, she left her best chance at something real. Regret also grows because of comparison. No matter who she dates, no matter who she entertains, every man after you is measured against the standard you set. And here's the truth. If you are a man of substance, of stability, of presence, no one else will measure up. They may be more exciting in the short term, but they won't carry the depth you did. They may make her laugh, but they won't make her feel safe. They may give her butterflies, but they won't give her peace. And over time, that comparison eats at her, because she knows she once had what she now craves, and she threw it away. The men who come after you don't erase her regret, they intensify it, because they remind her of what she lost. And perhaps the deepest cut of all is this: she cannot escape the truth that she was the one who ended it, but she cannot frame herself as the victim forever, because reality always circles back. You didn't betray her, you didn't abandon her, you didn't fail her, she chose to leave, and because it was her choice, the weight of responsibility always falls back on her shoulders. That knowledge is inescapable. Even if she buries it, even if she denies it, it lingers in the back of her mind like a shadow she cannot outrun. And with every year that passes, that shadow grows darker, because time doesn't heal her wound, it deepens it. It reminds her that she made the choice to throw away something rare, and that choice cannot be undone. That's why your ex will always feel worse over time, because time never lets her forget what she lost. Over time, the illusions she once clung to start collapsing one by one. She thought leaving you would bring endless excitement, but the thrill faded. She thought other men would treat her better, but most treated her as temporary. She thought freedom would feel empowering, but instead it feels hollow. And now, every time she reflects, she realizes her decision was built on fantasy. She left a man who was real for the illusion of something more, and now she must live with the consequences. Illusions always collapse under the weight of reality, and when they do, the regret is devastating, because she can't escape the fact that she built her future on a lie, and that lie cost her the one thing she now wishes she could get back. Meanwhile, you've been building quietly. You've been leveling up while she's been spiraling. And this is what twists the knife even deeper. She doesn't just regret losing you, she regrets watching you thrive without her. At one time, she may have believed she was your world, the center of your happiness. But now she sees that your life didn't end when she left. It actually began. That contrast crushes her spirit because it proves she was never as essential to your story as she thought. She was a chapter, not the book, and knowing that she's been replaced by your growth is a pain she can never shake. This is why time is the great equalizer in breakups. Men hurt deeply at first, but they rise. Women feel empowered at first, but they fall. The trajectories are opposite, and the intersection point is regret. At the beginning, she looks strong while you look weak. But at the end, you look free while she looks trapped. And no matter how she tries to hide it, no matter how much she pretends to have moved on, that regret always lingers in the background. It's not always loud, but it never goes away. Because deep down, she knows she lost a man who could have given her something no other man will ever match. A future built on stability, truth, and loyalty. And here's the part most men don't realize. Your absence becomes her teacher. Every silent day, every unanswered question, every memory that resurfaces is a lesson for her. She may never tell you, she may never apologize, she may never admit it, but she learns the truth in private. She learns that loyalty is rare, that real men don't chase, that walking away from a man who was real is the kind of mistake that echoes for life. That knowledge doesn't free her, it binds her, because now every man she meets after you will be a reminder of what she threw away. And those reminders make her regret grow, not shrink. This is why your ex will always feel worse over time. Not because you punish her, not because you seek revenge, but because reality itself does the work for you. Time reveals everything. It exposes her illusions, magnifies your growth, and deepens her regret. While you move forward, she looks back. While you thrive, she questions. While you build, she crumbles. And though she may never admit it, though her pride may keep her silent, she will carry the weight of her decision for the rest of her life. That's the true power of walking away with dignity. You don't need to make her regret losing you. Time will do it for you. And when it does, the pain she feels will always be heavier than the pain you once carried.